Your prescriber has ordered a meter dose inhaler for you to take, and I'm going to show you the proper technique for taking the inhaler. So you're going to get your inhaler out of your box, and the lid will come off. Now for your meter dose inhaler, we're also going to use a spacer. The spacer will allow the medicine to get down into your lungs better than if you use the inhaler by itself. The end of the inhaler is going to go in back of the spacer, and it's just going to push in the back, and it doesn't matter what's top or bottom. You're just going to put it right here, line it up, and just give it a push, and that'll go right into the spacer. Now there is a cap on the spacer that'll come off, and this is where you will wrap your lips around to get the medication in. So to take your dose, you're going to put your hand on top of the spacer, and you'll wrap your lips around the mouthpiece, and you're going to depress the inhaler, and you'll see the medication come in the spacer. After you press the inhaler, you're going to take a slow, deep breath in, as deep as you can. When you have a deep breath in, you will hold your breath for at least 5 to 10 seconds, whatever is manageable, and then you'll remove your mouth and you'll exhale. And you will repeat that for the amount of doses your prescriber has instructed you to take. So I'll demonstrate how to use the inhaler and the spacer. And then exhale. Now you heard a whistling noise. If you hear a whistling noise when you take in a breath, it means you're breathing in a little too fast. So you want to breathe just a little bit slower so the inhaler does not whistle. So I'm going to do it again. No whistling, and that's what you want to try to achieve when you take in a breath. Some of the meter dose inhalers that you use might require you to rinse your mouth when you're done. If it's a steroid, you will want to rinse your mouth with water after you use the inhaler. Your prescriber has ordered a HandyHaler for you to use, and I'm going to go over the proper steps to do that. So when you open the box, there'll be 2 items. There'll be a HandyHaler. This is the device that you'll use to take in a breath to inhale the medication. The medication is actually contained in a capsule that is located in one of these foil packs. So first we'll start by getting the capsule out. So we'll just rip off one of the squares from the foil packs, and we'll have to peel this open to get the capsule out. All right, so here's the capsule. Now the capsule will go inside the HandyHaler, and to get that inside, the lid's going to lift off. The mouthpiece is also going to lift up. And now there is a little spot for the capsule to slide in. It does not matter which side is up or down. You'll just drop the capsule right in the hole. You'll click the mouthpiece down, and now the capsule is loaded and it's ready for you to take the dose. Now to get the medication to come out of the capsule, that's what this little green button is for. When you depress that, that'll pierce the capsule and allow you to inhale the medication. So what you're going to do, and I'll demonstrate, you will push the green tab in. You'll hear a click. That means the capsule's been pierced. You're going to wrap your lips around the mouthpiece and take a fast, deep breath in. After the deep breath in, you'll hold your breath for 5 to 10 seconds, whatever's manageable, and that's it. When you're finished, the capsule will still be in here, so you're going to want to take that out of the HandyHaler and dispose of it. So you're going to lift up the mouthpiece, dump the capsule in your hand, and this can be disposed in the trash. Your prescriber has ordered a discus for you to use, and I'm going to go over the proper steps to do so. When you get your device out of the box, there is a little indentation here where you can put your thumb, and this portion is a lid that you're going to slide back to expose the mouthpiece. You'll just slide that back, and you will hear a little click. Now, this is where you will wrap your lips nice and snug to inhale the medication. To load the medication, or to get the device ready to inhale the medication, there is a little tab here on the side that you're going to push until you hear a click, and that will load the medication into the device, and then it will be ready to use. So I'm just going to push this back and demonstrate, and you hear a click. Now the device is ready to use. When you prime the device to load a dose, there is a little counter here, and every time you do use a dose, that number will go down by 1. So that lets you know how many doses are left in the inhaler. So I'm going to wrap my lips around the mouthpiece. Hold my breath for 10 seconds and then exhale. Some of the inhalers that you will use will require you to rinse your mouth out. Some of them have a steroid, and if that's the case, when you're done, you do want to rinse your mouth out with water really well. Your provider has ordered you to take an Ellipta device. The device will look like this when you get it. There is a lid on top, which you will have to slide down to expose the mouthpiece. When you slide the lid down, you will hear a click. That means the dose has been loaded and it's ready to take. Once the dose is loaded, there is a window in the front. This shows you how many doses are left in the inhaler. Every time you open the lid to take a dose and load it, this will reduce by 1. When you open the lid and you load a dose into the inhaler, it will only load 1 dose in the inhaler at a time. You cannot overdose. Even if you were to open the lid several times, it only provides 1 dose. The device is now ready to use, and what I'm going to demonstrate for you is I'm going to wrap my lips around the mouthpiece snugly, and I'm going to take a fast, deep breath in, as deep as I can. When I have a deep breath in, I am going to hold my breath for 5 to 10 seconds, and that will be it. You want to make sure you don't put your thumb over these vents on top, because you don't want to occlude those. I'm going to hold the inhaler like so, wrap my lips snugly. Hold my breath for 5 to 10 seconds, and then I'm finished. Some inhalers require you to rinse your mouth out with water when you're finished if they contain a steroid. And if that is the case, you want to make sure you rinse your mouth out as soon as you're finished taking your prescribed dose. Your provider has ordered you to use a twist-tailor inhaler, and I'm going to show you how to do that. The inhaler itself will look like this. To get the lid off, we're going to twist it, and as you twist the lid, you'll also hear a click. Taking the lid off also primes the inhaler so it's ready to use. So I'm going to turn it counterclockwise. There is a click. There's also a window that shows you how many doses are in the inhaler. Every time you take the lid off and the dose is loaded, that'll decrease by 1. So you want to keep an eye on that to make sure you have doses in the inhaler ready to use. Once it's primed, you're going to wrap your lips around the inhaler nice and tight. You're going to take a fast, deep breath in, as deep as you can. When you have a deep breath in, you will hold your breath for 5 to 10 seconds. So I'm going to demonstrate that now. I'm going to wrap my lips around here. And then exhale. Some inhalers require that you rinse your mouth out with water when you're finished, so you want to make sure you do that when you're done using the inhaler. Your provider has ordered a Respimat inhaler for you to use. I'm going to go over the proper steps to do so. When you get your Respimat home and open the box, there'll be 2 items that you'll see inside. One will be the Respimat inhaler. You'll also see a little canister. The canister contains the medication that you will be inhaling. So the first thing we need to do is put the canister inside the Respimat inhaler device. Now to do that, on the device, there is a black or a little tab. On this model, it's gray, which you will push in and you'll pull the bottom off. So I'm going to push that tab in, pull the bottom off, and we'll set that aside. The canister is going to go inside this hole on the bottom of the inhaler. We're going to take the canister. It'll only fit in one way. I'm going to push it in. Now, the canister needs to be pierced in order for the medication to come out. And we do have to put some pressure on the canister to get it so it pierces. You can put your thumb on there and push really hard, and you may be able to get it to pierce. Another way to do it, which is usually a little easier, is to find a nice level, solid surface. Put the canister on like so. And then you're going to take your hand and just push down, and the canister will pierce inside of the inhaler. Now we have to replace the lid. And we'll just slide that on, and we're going to push, and it will click. So now the canister is in there, and the inhaler is ready to go. Now, the first time we use the inhaler, we want to make sure we prime it, because we want to make sure you get the medication when you take your first dose. To prime this, we're going to twist this three times. There's one. Every time you hear a click, we'll count that as a one turn. There's two. There's three. We're going to press the gray button and see if we have a mist. So there we have a nice stream of mist that comes out. So that tells us that the inhaler is primed, and now we can take a treatment and get the correct amount of medication. When we take a treatment from now on, we are only twist this one time. We're not going to twist it three. That was only at the beginning to prime the device. We will twist it one time, and then we will have a dose loaded at that time. When the dose is loaded, I'm going to wrap my lips around the mouthpiece. I'm going to press the gray button, which will allow the medication to come out. And I'm going to take a nice, slow, deep breath in, as deep as I can. When I have a deep breath in, I'm going to hold my breath for 5 to 10 seconds, and then I will exhale. So I will demonstrate. I'll twist this one time. Dose is loaded. I'm going to put this in my mouth. I'm going to press the gray button. And then exhale. And that's how you take a treatment with the Respimat. When we're finished, we'll just put the lid back on. One other thing I do want to show you is on the side there is a counter. This, of course, will go down by one every time we load this and take a treatment. We want to keep an eye on this. When we get to the red zone, we want to make sure we have another inhaler. If not, we want to make sure we get a refill. Your prescriber has ordered a turbohaler for you to use, and I'm going to go over the proper steps in order to do so. The device itself will look like this. There is a lid that will be on here that you will take off. When the lid is off, the device will look just like so. Now, before we take a treatment, we need to load the medication to make sure you get that when you inhale. In order to load the medication into this device, it's going to require that we twist it one direction and then the other, okay? So I'm going to hold the bottom of the device, and I'm going to put my fingers about in the middle, and I'm going to twist. First I'm going to twist clockwise, and then I'm going to come right back counterclockwise, and you'll hear a click. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to go clockwise, and you turn it until you feel like you can't turn it anymore. So there's a resistance, and then you'll turn it right back, and you'll hear a click. That means there is a dose loaded in the device, and it's ready to take. So what I'm going to do to take the dose properly is I'm going to wrap my lips around the mouthpiece nice and snug. I'm going to take a fast, deep breath in, as deep as I can, and then I'm going to hold my breath for 5 to 10 seconds. And then exhale. Now, when I took the inhalation and you did hear a whistle, you don't want to hear a whistle. That means you breathe in a little bit too fast. So when you breathe in, you want to do it at a speed that you don't get any whistle. That just makes sure the medicine gets down in your lungs the best. So I'm going to demonstrate without the whistle noise. So I'm going to turn it clockwise to load a dose, counterclockwise. There's a click, so a dose is loaded. Now I'm going to do this again, wrap my lips around the mouthpiece. Exhale after 5 to 10 seconds. There was no whistle, so that was a perfect inhalation to get the required dose. So we're finished taking the medication. Some medications do require that you rinse your mouth out with water when you're finished, and if that is the case, you want to make sure you do that as soon as you're done. Your provider has ordered a press air inhaler device for you to use. I'm going to go over the proper steps that will show you how to do so. The device is going to look just like this when you get it out of the box. The first thing we're going to do is take the cap off of the end, because that's where you will wrap your lips around the mouthpiece to inhale the medication. So that's simply just going to pull right off, and we'll set it aside. To prime the inhaler, to get it ready to take a inhalation, we will press the button in the back, and we're going to press it down till we hear a click, and then we'll let go. So the device is now primed, and you're ready to take a treatment. There's a window on the front of the device that will turn green after you depress this button. That lets you know that a dose has in fact been loaded and the inhaler is ready to use. Above the green window, there is also a number that you will see. This is how many doses remain in the inhaler. Every time we take a treatment, that number should go down by 1. We are ready to take the treatment now since the dose is loaded. I will demonstrate this in a second, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap my lips around the mouthpiece nice and snug. I'm going to take a fast, deep breath in as deep as I can, and then I will hold my breath for 5 to 10 seconds. And I'll exhale. Now, when I took the fast, deep breath in, there was a click that you heard. That lets you know that you did get the proper dose. The window also will turn red, meaning that you got the proper dose. If you took the treatment and you did not hear a click, and this window is still green, you did not get the proper dose. You didn't breathe in quite fast or hard enough to get the medication. So you could inhale again.